Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So let us go for the next usage of general journal entry, and that is reassigning jobs. What do you mean by jobs? We know that for each customer we can assign job, and of course, for each customer we can assign several jobs. Let us say, for example, we have a customer and he has, for example, two jobs. So he want to transfer some of the credit, or he want to transfer some of the expenses from one job to another job. How this is possible? Of course, this is not possible through the we can say to do the customer section of the QuickBooks. So we have to adjust it with the general journal entry, right? Let us check this one. First of all, let me check out the customer, that which customer has two jobs and how much balance they have and how they want to transfer, whether they want to transfer expenses or whether they want to transfer the revenue. For this purpose, we have to go for the company, for the customers, click on the customer center, come to the customers, find out which customer has two jobs. Abdul Latif has two jobs, this one and this one, this one. Let me go for this one. For Marwa John, for example. Marwa John, there is no balance in the account of Marwa, point number one. And second two, point job one, also there is no balance. Job two, also there is no balance. First of all, make a balance for this job one as well as for the job, right? Let me go, for example, for the customer section and make an invoice, for example. Make an invoice of anything, for example. Select the specific customer, for example, Marwa John, and under Marwa John, for example, select job one, right? Now, what you want to charge to this one, for example, maybe, for example, I have sold keyboard. How many keyboards? For example, 10 keyboards. And how much is the price of each keyboard? Let us say it is 500, right? If it is 500, the total become equal to, after tax, become 5,500. Save this one. And make one more invoice for the second job of Marwa John. For example, this is the case. And the amount is, for example, it is item. Which item you want to sell? Item, for example, 20 key battery. And the price of each battery is, for example, 300, right? Now, how much is the amount of this one? 6,600. Previous one was 5,500, and now it is 6,600. Save and close this one. Now come back to the customer section, to the Marwa. One balance says 5,500 and the second balance says 6,600. Now let us say, for example, Marwa says that why you have charged balance, why you have charged, for example, on job number one is closed. Instead of charging on job number one, you have to charge it on job number two. Or for example, even job one is not closed, but the amount which you have charged was not belong to job number one, so that was belong to job number two. You have to charge it on job number two. So in this case, there is no option to transfer balance from this one to this one. So how we can do it? Of course, we can do it with the general journal entry. Right? Go for the company panel, go for the company section, and then click on general journal entry. Right? See, in this case, if we want to transfer the balance from job one to job two, if you want to transfer the balance from job one to job two, so job one should be credited, job two should be debited. See, job one should be credited, job two should be debited. But what is the problem with the journal entry? That in the same, as I said previously, in the same window, you cannot select more than one account receivable as well as more than one account payable. Job one is also account receivable, job two is also account receivable. So how can you manage it, or how can you adjust it? For this purpose, there should be a third account, and that account should act as an intermediary. And we call it holding account, or we can call it what? We can say clearing account. First of all, you have to transfer the balance from job one to that account, and then you can transfer from that account to job two, right? So directly you cannot transfer from one account, from one job to another job. First of all, you have to transfer to the holding account or to the clearing account, and then you can transfer to that one. How you can do that one? First of all, you have to create that account. How you can create it? You go for the chart of account, right click, just create this one. And that account either can be created under expenses or under revenue. So let me create it under other expenses, right? So name this one, for example, as holding account. What account? Holding account. Why holding account? Because it just holds the balance for a few minutes or a few seconds, right? Holding account. Holding account. That's it, right? Holding account. That's it. Oh, N is not given here, so mention holding account. So save and close this one itself. Now go for the company, general journal entry. You want to transfer balance from which job to which job? We want to transfer balance from job 1 to job 2. So if you want to transfer balance from job 1 to job 2, so as I said, both of them are not possible at the same time. First, you have to transfer from job 1 to holding account, and then from holding account, you can transfer to job 2, right? So if you want to transfer from job 1 should be credited, but holding account should be debited. First of all, in the debit, select the holding account. Which account? Holding account. How much was the balance? Let us say the balance was 5,500. Okay? And which account to make credit? Previously, mistakenly, this account was debited, right? So now we want to credit this one. So in this one, select the account receivable, but under the name, you have to select the job. Which job? Job number 1. Save on this one. Save and new. Go for the customer section. Now you can check that. How much is the balance of job 1? How much is the balance of job 1? Job 1 balance is 0, but still job 2 is 6,600. Why? Because the balances is still in the holding account. Now we want to transfer the balance from this holding account to job number 2, right? So if you want to transfer balance from holding account to job number 2, so job number 2 become debit, right? So that is why you have to select the account receivable and select the job number 2. But in the credit, how much was the balance? Balance was 5,500. But in the credit account, of course, you have to select the holding account. Which account? Holding account. There is no effect on the holding account. Either you can take the expenses or revenue or whatever. It just acts as an intermediary, as a bridge between these two, right? And save this one. This transaction is not in balance. Okay, I have not mentioned the balance, 5,500, right? So save and close this one. Now, if you go for the consumer section and click the jobs, you can find that job 2. See, job 2 increased. Job 2 increased to how much? 12,100. If you click on this one, you can find out, okay, not this one in this way. So see, you can find out the balance. One balance was 6,600, and the second balance through the general journal entry is equal to how much? 5,500. This was one of the way that you can reassign the jobs. So I have reassigned the expenses from one job to another job, right? In the same time, you can reassign the income also from one account to another account. Let us say, for example, we want to make a credit memo. And in the customer section, I have selected once again job 1, right? And for which item? Let us say, for example, for the battery. And how many items? For example, we can say 10 batteries. And how much was the price? The price was, for example, 200. If you multiply with this one, the total is equal to how much? 2,200. Save and close this one. So, okay, you want to pay later. Now, if you go for the customer, for the vendor, for the customer section, for the job 1, there is a credit balance. There's what balance? Credit balance. So let us say job 1 is closed. If job 1 is closed, the owner of this one, or for example, the customers, says that although I have a credit balance in job 1, but as my job 1 is closed, so please adjust this credit balance of job 1 into job 2, right? How we can do it? Again, we can do this one with the general journal entry. For this purpose, let us go this one for the customers. Right now, how much is payable in job 2? In job 2, 12,100 is payable. We want to transfer this balance to this one. If you transfer the balance to this one, so the payment in this account will be 9,900, right? It means the payment decrease. Why the payment decrease? Because there is a credit in that job 1, so this credit is adjusted in this account. How we can do it? Again, we have to go for the chart for the general journal entry. Collect on the general journal entry. The question is from which job to which job you want to transfer. We want to transfer from job 1 to job 2. So job 1, in this case, job 1 should be debited, right? Debit your job 1. Select this one. And credit, how much is the balance? The balance was, for example, 2,200. And of course, credit your holding account. Which account? Holding account. So credit the holding account. Right? How much is the balance? 2,200. Right? So this is the balance. Then 7 new. Now if you go for the customer and check the balance. Where is this? Check the balance. How much is the balance? How much is the credit in job one? There is no credit in job one. Why? Because I have transferred it, right? And in order to adjust it when the job two, so go for this one. So the question, once again, the question, you want to transfer the balance or the credit from holding account to which account? We want to transfer it to job two. So if you want to transfer to job two, so job two again should be credited, right? So credit the job two. Credit the job two. Go for the account two. Sorry, credit the job two. Holding account should be debited. Debit the holding account. Why we should credit the second job? Why? Because the balance of job two will decrease after this credit, right? So job one was debited, so definitely job two will get credited. So which account to be debited? Holding account to be debited. How much was the amount? Amount was 2,200, and job two should be credited. So credit the job two. So select the account here, job two, right? Should be credited. 7 close. So this is done. If you want to check that, once again, go for the customer center. Now, see the balance of this one is 0, but the balance of this one is equal to how much? 900. How this is so? Invoice was 6,600, something like that. And of course, the second invoice was this one. But there was a credit also, right? So credit is not shown here. Why? I don't know. Let me check out if it is possible to see credit memo for this transaction. All credit memos, right? So let me check out the date itself. So as you can see, you cannot find out the 2000 deduction from here. I have checked here from here. It is not possible. So how can you see or how can you understand as a proof? For this purpose, you have to go for the report and then click on customer and account receivable, then come back on the customer summary, right? See, there is a job to for Marwa John. Click on this one. Then here you can find out a credit or a minus amount of how much? 2,200, right? 6,600 was the first, and second was 5,500 through general journal entry. And again, there is a minus 2,200 through the general journal entry. If you want to click on this one, you can find out the balance comes from where, right? So in this way, you can check and you can adjust the reassigning jobs.